All money ain't good money. Certainly something you've seen stated here on the channel numerous times. Fact is, when you're in rideshare, whether driving for Uber or Lyft, some trips, some passengers are better off left by the curb. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim with another ride sharing video. Now, this features a 49-year-old driver, Uber driver, that was ultimately charged with sexual assault. But I want you to hear the details of the case because things may not be the way they're shaped up. And the lesson here is something like this could happen to you if you're not about your wits. Comes to you from an article titled, "After Uber Ride, Tourists Wake Up Naked in Motel with Memory Fog, Police Say. Driver Arrested." Now, the gist of the story is that the Uber driver, gave this alleged victim a ride to a motel where she woke up naked. Now, this obviously is not where she wanted to go. So she woke up, no clothing, somewhere that she never intended to go. And that led to the driver being charged with sexual assault. Now, the victim in court testified that when the driver showed up, she thought this was her Uber. Apparently, the vehicle she got in was not even meant for her to begin with. Here are the details of how she stated this to the judge, because I'm going to tell you right off the bat, not necessarily try to disrespect anyone that has been a victim of sexual assault, but something doesn't add up here. But you listen to it, see if you hear the red flags. "He made me believe that was my Uber and said, 'Get in the car, and that's it,' said the woman. 'It looked exactly like the car I was waiting for.'" First of all, no Uber driver should be shouting at you to get in the car. As a passenger, you have the right to turn down trips, just like we have a right to turn your ass down. Nobody has to do anything here, folks. This is all by choice. Uber driver shows up, you don't feel comfortable, don't get in the damn car. Particularly if they're demanding you get in the damn car. Now, the victim, because this testimony I'm reading you is what they stated to the circuit court judge. And I want you to hear how the judge even responded to this. But the victim is saying that the Uber that she got into, where a driver's yelling, "Get in the damn car," looked just like what she was expecting. I'd be real curious to see if they have her account, go through her Uber account, see what the actual car that was coming to pick her up looks like compared to what this suspect drives. I personally believe she may just be saying that this woman was drunk as a skunk and this whole event happened. Once again, I'm trying to avoid victim blaming, but listening to the testimony, it does leave a lot of questions to be asked. Now, here's coming from the court. According to the arrest affidavit, the victim told police that she had left South Beach in an Uber and woke up naked inside of a motel, a 77 motel, kind of like a Motel 6, with no recollection on how she got there. Now, you hear how the story is going. The circuit court judge, this happened down in the Miami-Dade area, Miami-Dade circuit court judge, Mindy S. Glazier. You'll hear me referencing her towards the end of this video, but even the judge, here's a quote from the judge, says, "These are some of the strangest facts I've seen," said Glazier. Now, all of us have picked up drunk patrons as a rideshare driver. That's part of the game, particularly if you're driving Friday and Saturday nights during the after club crowd. But even during the week, hell of a lot of guys go to these hole-in-the-wall bars and things like that because they don't want to go home to their damn wife, and you end up picking up drunks. Picking up drunks is part of rideshare. But yours truly, and I'm assuring many of you folks out there, my veteran drivers in particular, we've all had drunks try to come on to us. Some of them ain't bad looking. Some of them are quite convincing. But understand, if you actually take the bait, you can end up in some shit like this. Now, in this case, the motel witness told detectives that the woman appeared to be intoxicated. So even the folks at the motel was like, yeah, she was drunk. But here is something coming from the Uber driver himself. I told you, who is he? 49-year-old Denny Murad. Avicius or something like that. I'm butchering his name, but you see the picture of him. He made a statement that really looks weird as hell, even though the judge is stating that these facts look really weird. The judge is even similar to what I'm saying, where something really seems weird about this. But you want to go further into the weird category. Listen to what the Uber driver told the damn judge. So he told detectives he does drive Uber. And on more than one occasion, he placed incoherent females into his vehicle and transported them to a motel where he removes their belongings for safekeeping, said the Judge Glazer. Why the hell would an Uber driver put drunk women into his vehicle and take them to motels? I think there was plausible deniability to some degree until you said some shit like this. On more than one occasion, you're taking drunk females to motels and removing their belongings for safekeeping as if you're doing them a favor. Drunk gets in your vehicle, clearly wanting to go somewhere else, but because they're inebriated, you take them to a hotel, making it sound like, well, I'm doing them a favor, I'm going to let them lay down and rest it off. He's fucking these women. I think that's the point right here where it starts to look shady for him. But in this case, the reason I said it doesn't appear as if it's always as if it seems, because it wouldn't be the first time a drunk woman, just like with us guys, did something while drunk that they regretted once sobering up. Happens every single day of the week all over the world, certainly in America. A woman engages in intimacy with a guy she would never have touched while sober, and once she does become sober, she certainly regrets it. Or maybe agrees to something that she never would agree to while sober, which is kind of how they may have ended up at the motel. Notice in the witness testimony at the motel, the witness says she appeared intoxicated. There's no testimony that she appeared to be appeared to be complaining. She was just drunk. Two individuals came back from a bar and now they're about to go in a hotel room and get it on. That's listening to what I'm hearing here is how the witness makes it sound. Now, clearly the woman could have been so out of her mind she couldn't walk or some shit like that. My guess is the motel witness would have stated that. Just sound like she was kind of drunk. Could be definitely a possibility. She was attractive. The driver came on to her, and in her drunk and stupor, she actually agreed to it somehow, some way. None of that is excuse, folks. You should know by now that if you get with a woman that is intoxicated, they're going to say she could not consent, and thereby it is a sexual assault. Understand that shit doesn't always work in reverse. If you're intoxicated and you do something with a sober woman as a man, nobody gives a damn. You should have knew better. But that is how it is viewed in this country, that if you are a female and you're intoxicated, whatever you do, assuming you don't get into a DUI crash, because then they'll hold you accountable. If you're a drunk woman and you get into a DUI, they'll hold you accountable. But if you're intimate, you were too drunk to consent. So men should understand that. So in coming to you with the videos, because a lot of times as a driver, we do have intoxicated patrons hit on us. God forbid what it must be like as a female picking up drunk guys. It must be significantly worse, because even as a guy, I can tell you it happens to men all the time, but certainly as a woman, it must really happen. So I just wanted to run the video by you because I wanted to find that out. How many of you folks out there have drunk passengers try to get with you? Maybe you take somebody home to drop off something and they're suddenly inviting you into their home. I had a really young woman do that to me when I first started driving. I've had chicks reach through the seats, try to massage your back, things like that. Certainly if you get 2 or 3 of them in the car, hey, you're big, you got big shoulders, whatever the case may be. I have certainly had it happen myself. I gotta assume I'm by no means the only guy. Surely this has happened to other folks. Just understand, you got to resist. I don't care how gorgeous she is, care what she's saying. Fact is, when you're driving folks around, understand you might be broke as hell, but Uber and Lyft have deep pockets and people are always looking for the come up, the class action or the lawsuit, the settlement. So whatever you do while driving for Uber or Lyft, people may take that as a way to easily sue Uber or Lyft. Even if a woman agrees and she's completely sober, if you're driving a passenger, which means you are actually working, and you take her up on her invitation to be intimate with you or whatever, and you go to her house or something like that, and they can clearly see in the app you were driving her home, and then you logged out because you were in her house tearing that shit up. If something happens and she makes an accusation, you can find yourself in a lot of trouble. It's just not safe to engage in intimacy with passengers while you're working, period. While you're working, period. Now, perhaps you could maybe take her number and get with her totally outside of ride sharing, maybe. But just understand there's a hell of a lot of risk to it. This driver here, I'm going to err on the side that it does sound like he was in the wrong, but it sounds also like this female passenger may have been, while drunk, down for some of this shit and woke up and realized she had made a mistake, went straight to authorities. Furthermore, one of the things she said, she did encounter a lot of bruises, woke up sore. You know how that works. But nevertheless, this guy has been charged. Oddly enough, the judge, according to the article, actually told the female, we're sorry what you went through, but understand right now he is innocent until proven guilty. So the judge, to have that come from a judge, that's amazing. It sounds to me, certainly like I've been telling you throughout the video, that even the judge is a bit suspect on whether this was a complete sexual assault or if he actually took up an invitation to be intimate by a drunk woman. Be careful when you're picking up folks that are intoxicated. Just understand that. Be very careful when you're picking up someone that is drunk. Shit like this can happen to anybody. As always, feel free to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.